Hello, Big Man Up Top YouTube listeners. It's producer Tom here, coming to you with a new haircut and a new camera angle, which we never actually intended to use this episode, but we had a little malfunction with our cameras. So every time I speak, it cuts to this angle, except I have my laptop in front of me, and you just see a bit of the background and like the corner of my mouth. So apologies for this. Ed and Joe say it's an improvement and that we should use it every week. So I don't know how I feel about that, but let us know how you feel about that in the comments down below. And other than that, enjoy a brand new episode of the Big Man Up Top.
Hello and welcome to the podcast that had an early night because it has no interest in the Super Bowl. It's the Big Man Up Top.
It certainly is. So you didn't fancy it then, Joe?
Boring. Not bothered.
I completely disagree.
You watched it at the Bet365.
I did. Yeah, I went to go to see it at Ricardo's, which is a bar at the Stoke Stadium, for a big watch party. There's probably about 200 people there. Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant.
Some big watches on show.
I was there on my own. And I made friends with a guy from Boston.
Wow.
Obviously, New England Patriots, his team, were in the Super Bowl. You don't know or care about that. And bless him, I was like, why are you here in Stoke?
Fair play.
And he told me that his company in Boston had sent him to Stoke for work over the Super Bowl weekend.
Oh, poor guy.
I said, that feels... what have you done?
Is he underperformed?
I don't know. It feels a little bit harsh. But yes, anyway.
Were you happy with the old Super Bowl outcome?
It was an incredibly dull game. It was all about the defence. Basically like watching Stoke in general, really.
Oh, so you felt at home.
Low scoring. Yeah.
Low blocks. Do you have low blocks in American football?
Well, essentially, yeah. It was the NFL version of a low block for 90 minutes,
Wow.
but with loads of ads every 2 seconds. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, what are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about what happens when deadline day deals fall through. Because last week, the transfer window slammed shut, Joe, didn't it? It never closes gently.
Oh, it doesn't. Hello, Richard Keys.
Exactly. But obviously, like, that kind of means something for players, doesn't it? Like, in terms of, not just what club they're playing at or what first team opportunities they're getting, but actually it's really impacts their lives as well. So we thought we'd have a little bit of chat about that today.
Yes, very exciting.
Now, we're in our lovely studio, Joe, again. We've actually just had an offer of an Aston Villa shirt, Tom, haven't we?
We have. It's going to be great.
Because presenters are now just coming to us and trying to offload their football stuff.
They've seen this as an opportunity to clear out their loft.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing? There's stuff that you guys don't even know about that I've just taken home. Yeah.
Now, I feel like we do have to mention the Louis van Gaal signed Man United picture.
I'm not sure why it's still up there.
I
have no interest in it.
It's, look, Michael Carrick's there, Man United legend, Wayne Rooney.
Do we keep it up until they lose a game?
Is
that what we're doing?
Yeah, maybe.
That's
sure.
It. But when Man U are winning, it goes up. When they're losing, it goes down. That's what we do.
Great.
We do have to say that last week we said somebody gave us this and we couldn't remember who.
Yeah, well, when you say we said somebody gave us this, Ed.
This is me.
And it was given directly to you.
Yes. It was given to us by the lovely Sharon Ferguson, who heads up the UCB Academy. Check out ucb.co.uk/ I don't know what the website is.
/academy, I bet.
Is it?
Yeah.
Should we try and have a look?
Okay, I'll put
UCB.
Okay, let's watch Ed Google.
UCB.
Phenomenal promo.
Yeah, sorry, Sharon. I want to get this right. Yes, it's ucb.co.uk /academy, which is this amazing part of the ministry here at UCB. Sharon heads up that, and she was the one that very generously gave us that Man United signed picture. So
and that Stoke shirt, signed Stoke shirt.
And she listens to the podcast and was very upset that I'd forgotten who had given. So there you go, Sharon. Credit has officially been given. But we've had some correspondence, Joe.
Goodness me.
Yes, we had a lovely email coming from Paul, who's a Man City fan, and he made a few points. The first point he made was that he disagreed with you on the just thought I'd drop that in there about the league being boring. He thinks it has been interesting and seeing.
Well, it depends what you mean. The context that I was saying was from an entertainment standpoint.
Okay.
Boring.
Well, he's been enjoying seeing, the lower teams pick up plenty of points
Sure.
up against the bigger teams.
That.
But the thing that I particularly enjoyed was he talked about, this was off the back of our episode about humour and us being able to laugh at ourselves. And he agreed with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there we go.
Thanks, Paul.
That's what I wanted to focus on.
Yeah.
And he said, if I've made a clever suggestion, maybe at work, and get complimented on it, I use the phrase, I'm not just a pretty face.
Yeah, classic.
A well-known phrase for such circumstances, as I definitely know I haven't got a pretty face.
Oh.
I know, Paul, you're doing yourself a disservice
I'm
there.
sure you have a lovely face, Paul.
Yes, I'm
Paul,
sure.
send us a picture of your face.
No,
don't
that's,
do that.
That's not. It's not that kind of podcast. We don't want to encourage that.
Well, that's similar to a joke we have a lot around here, Face for Radio. It's
Yes.
obviously
Yeah.
a radio station.
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic of the genre.
It is, and sadly, we've stuck cameras up in all the studios now, so
Time to change.
everybody can actually see us. But thank you for your email, Paul. And if you want to get in touch with the show, email us podcasts@ucb.co.uk.
Tom, we've got some more correspondence.
We have.
there. What is
We've
that?
received a letter.
A
letter. It's addressed
physical letter.
to the big man up top. What
Tom.
podcast do we do?
I don't know.
The Big Man Up Top podcast. And
That
you
looks
see-
very official.
It is. It's even got a stamp in the top corner.
Who
which
is the stamp?
a monarch of some kind.
Okay.
I assume of
Okay.
this country.
I thought it was going to be,
Big
Peter
big
Crouch or
Does he have stamps?
Nicola Zigic or some other big man up top
You're
royalty.
making up names.
I promise I'm not.
Zigic. That's fantasy. Anyway, inside is actually a written letter, and it goes like this.
Okay.
Dear Ed and Joe, I have been listening to your so-called podcast, and I am outraged. Stat Matt has been bringing us a fresh stat every week since January,
He's not wrong.
and you still don't have a jingle for his feature.
True.
Producer Tom, please sort these guys out. Lots of love, up the Alex, from a concerned listener.
Okay, fine. Fine.
And whoever this listener is,
This anonymous listener.
obviously they're very handsome and talented. They're right on the money.
Yeah,
we
okay.
don't have a jingle for Stat Matt, and I think that it's about time we do. So I'm going to set you guys a challenge to achieve this. Now, if you're listening and you don't know that Ed and Joe are actually pretty musically talented, wouldn't you say, guys?
Pretty.
Are we?
Okay,
Yeah.
I was being modest for you, but very then musically talented. Ed, Joe, you're quite good on the keys. Ed,
Yes, I've been on Songs of Praise.
enough said. And Ed, you're very good on the vocals.
I've also been on Songs of Praise as
Have you?
as a lighting technician. Yes.
Right, well, we've all been on Songs of Praise, then, apart from me. So I'm going to set you guys the challenge to create your own jingles for the Stat Map feature. It's going to top and tail it, and then maybe in a fortnight we're going to play them out, and we're going to see which one we think is best, and we'll encourage the listeners to get in touch too and tell us themselves.
We'll do a vote maybe on the YouTube channel.
Yes,
Lovely, let's do that,
That'd be good. Or on the new Instagram.
Oh, now then.
Wow.
The Big Man Up Top Instagram.
Here
Can't
we
just
go.
go dropping things like that.
So this is the same handle as our YouTube channel, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah.
This is @BigManUpTopPod. Have we got any videos on there yet, Tom?
After, you know what? When this episode comes out, we will.
Great.
So
if you're on Instagram, give us a search @BigManUpTopPod and follow us and do all that sort of stuff.
Well, Ed, now we've got all that admin nonsense out of the way. I think it's time for a quiz, don't
It
you?
certainly is. Yes, this is Bible Ballers. This is our quiz segment on the Big Man Up Top, where I will quiz Joe this week, all about a Bible baller. That's somebody who shares their first name with the name of a book in the Bible. So a little bit of a different twist this week, Joe.
Ooh.
Yes, exactly. We're looking at managers.
Okay.
So, are you ready for your question?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Which former Bible baller who is currently managing in the Premier League once described himself as the slowest striker in the whole of Western Europe?
Wow.
I'll say that again. Which former Bible baller who is currently managing in the Premier League once described himself as the slowest striker in the whole of Western Europe? You're now frantically going through every team in the Premier League.
Arsenal.
And I'm not going
Yeah.
to say that I won't be using some weird variations.
Oh, God.
So it could be Matty.
This is Marco Gate all over again, isn't it?
Is it Marco Silva? Was he a striker? Or was that a double bluff?
Who knows? Oof. Who knows? That's what you've got to. That's what you've got to figure.
Who was a striker? Who are all the managers?
So throw out some Bible baller Premier League manager names at me, Joe. There's not many.
There's not many. Is it?
No.
Mark. Do we have any Marks? Matthews. Matt.
There's only 20.
Right. Mikel. There's no Mikel or Mike. Mike.
Book of Michael.
Unai. I'm going alphabetically. Unai.
Keep this in, Tom.
I think we're up to about 2 minutes.
Stay with me.
That's 2 managers of 20.
Brentford. What's Keith?
What do you think was in the Gospel according to Keith?
Some good stuff in there. All I can think of at the moment is Marco Silva. David Moyes. No Davids. I don't even know if these players were strikers. Did you know Nuno was a goalkeeper?
I did, yeah.
That's fun, isn't it? Yeah. So that's one ruled out.
Book of Nuno.
Well, Nuno Holy Spirit.
Espirito Santo,
that's
exactly. Yeah.
So he's the ultimate Bible baller.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to give you the rest of the episode.
No, let's do it now. Okay, fine. Come back to me.
What a weekend of football, Joe.
Oh, goodness me.
Oh, dearie me.
I'm going to retract my statement earlier about no entertainment.
Yeah.
Because, let's just start with that Liverpool game.
Let's start with Liverpool 1, Man City 2 at Anfield. This was a game that, for me, for anybody who was losing faith in the Premier League as a spectacle, this just blew everything out of the water, didn't it? It was a game that started incredibly well and just got better as it went on.
There's just something about this fixture. Liverpool City is probably my favourite game to watch. Like, for some reason, I don't feel nervous ahead of Liverpool City, and I don't really know why. I just know it's going to be a great game at Anfield, and this was no exception. Just chaos, entertainment, drama. It was so good.
I feel like we sort of need to go through this in sort of chronological order.
Yeah.
Fill us in sort of about everything that happened, I suppose, up to the sort of chaotic last 15 minutes. Like, how was the game for you, the ebb and flow of it, the majority of the game?
Well, I think City definitely had the most of it in the first half. They had a few chances and certainly had control of the game. But then second half, Liverpool picked up. They were certainly the better team, and there was a few really good chances. I want to talk about that Ekitike chance from the Salah cross. That was delicious. And Salah's not looking good. Like, he looks very leggy, but there's that moment in him that you think you just have to have him on the pitch for things like that. Because if Ekitike finishes that header, then it's one of the goals of the season.
But it was such an end-to-end game, wasn't it? It was, both sides just really, really going, full throttle at each other, and then Dominic Szoboszlai.
Oh,
just I'm gonna say it. I think it's the best free kick I've ever seen.
Serious?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think it was that good.
It's definitely up there, isn't it?
Yeah,
the way it swerves. It's just he can hit a ball. He can really hit a ball.
So this free kick is from a long way out, but he's just not hit it at all how you would expect. He sort of hit a reverse Roberto Carlos with the outside of his right foot, and it has just swung across the goal. The goalkeeper's seen it all the way, and yet he's absolutely powerless to do anything about it. It's clipped the inside of the post. Just a stunning goal.
And there's something very poetic about the fact he's done it again. And the first time he did this was against Arsenal, and now he's done it against City, and Arsenal fans everywhere would have erupted at that free kick. It was such a good free kick, and the fact it's Donnarumma as well, just couldn't do anything about it. Liverpool's best player this season. Obviously, there's more to say about Dominic Szoboszlai on this game, but I just love watching him play.
So City have then managed to scrape an equaliser, haven't they? Scrapes maybe a bit harsh. It was very end to end.
Potentially harsh, but I think they deserved it. But from a Liverpool point of view, it's really disappointing. I think particularly because Szoboszlai he's had a great season. he was filling in at right back, and it's him that plays Bernardo Silva on side, and any functional right back there knows to stay in line with Van Dijk, and Bernardo's offside, and Liverpool just didn't have control of the game after they scored, and it was a scrappy goal. It wasn't a very City goal either, was it?
No.
But they found a way to get back into the game.
And then we just have this bizarre ending. Joe, why don't you run us through what happened? What happened at the end of this game?
Well, so Matheus Nunes goes through and he's fouled by Alisson, and it is a penalty. So City get the penalty, and I think Alisson should know better than to go in like that. I think he's gone in a bit hot-headed. Nunes isn't known for his finishing, so I think he could have maybe been wiser, but it is a penalty. City go 2-1 up, and then Liverpool are obviously pushing for the equaliser. Very nearly get one through McAllister, who has a really nice half-volley shot. Stunning save from Donnarumma. Did you see Guardiola mimic Donnarumma's save?
Yes.
Very silly, man. So yeah, Liverpool are pushing. Alisson goes up for a free kick very late on in the game.
And at this point, he's not just come up for the free kick. He's hanging around in the box for the second and third ball that's coming back. He's camping out in the penalty area. There's only one thing on his mind: stay in the penalty box for this last chance. And then it sort of all goes a bit chaotic, doesn't it?
It goes a bit messy because it breaks to Shirky. He almost like just passes it from the halfway line, and it's a really nice finish. I don't think he intends it. I think he tries to play it through to Haaland, but he passes it into the net. But in the meantime, Haaland is chasing down the ball. Szoboszlai is chasing Haaland, and there's a little pull on Haaland, and then Haaland kind of takes out Szoboszlai with another pull. And you're just watching it, and you're like, it's a tussle off the ball. It's fine. The ball's gone in. 3-1. Game over. No issues with that. 3-1 City, fine. Let's finish the game. But then suddenly you hear that it's going to VAR, and you're like, why?
And your heart sinks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I felt in that moment, because I was like, obviously, from a Liverpool point of view, you don't want the goal to be given, and you see Haaland fouling Szoboszlai, and you're quite confident that it's not going to be given. But even the ref then comes out, and you can see he's trying to explain in the heat of the moment, and he completely butchers the explanation. And then he gives Szoboszlai a red card for the pull. And you're just a bit like, no one wants that to happen.
No.
What were your thoughts on it?
Well, this is it. Is how I feel. I feel very sorry for the refs in this situation, because absolutely, if you look at that, it's a red card to Szoboszlai, and you chalk the goal off for a foul like that. But nobody wants that to happen,
because the ball's gone in.
The ball's just gone in, and so you have to sort of say, surely it's that whole thing of common sense again, isn't it? But that's not what fans want. They might say they want it, but actually, the amount of complaints about the standard of refereeing, you don't want the referees using their own common sense, because that's when fans get upset about things. And so for me, this is a bit of a situation of football's own making.
100%.
If that makes sense.
I think it's a symptom of VAR.
Yeah.
This situation only happens because of VAR. Before VAR, that happens, and everyone accepts those two players have just had a tussle, the ball's gone in, and it's a goal. Fine. Imagine before VAR, the goal's disallowed and then Szoboszlai's sent off. Everyone's like, what on earth is happening?
What are you doing?
But because we're now in a situation where you're meticulously looking at the footage, finding any reason to get rid of this goal and to send someone off. It's just what the game's become. And I think it's a shame.
It is.
But at the same time, the rules have been followed. We could be in a situation where this title is decided on goal difference. There's 6 points between the two teams. City and Arsenal play each other. They could get level on points. And if it's decided by a goal, then you could look back at this moment, and if they hadn't made that decision, Arsenal fans could be in uproar.
Cherky goal / not goal aside, City just looked, again, I've used this pun several times now this season, they did look like they'd had their pep in their step firmly back, didn't they? It was something a bit more of an ignited City, and maybe their title hopes are ignited too.
Yeah, but I think they were only ignited from that Szoboszlai goal. I almost wonder if there was a mentality thing of, we're losing here, we're 9 points behind, it's now or never.
Yeah.
We've got 15 minutes to save this title race, and they've done it. And this has to ignite them now. This has to be the thing that forces them forwards into this title race. And if they can't be galvanised from this, then they've got no chance.
I just think you saw something about the way the City players celebrated those goals.
Yeah, and Pep as well, because he was slumped in his seat, wasn't he? They literally showed him just sat back, like spitting on the ground, and then suddenly they get the equaliser, and he's bouncing around. Yeah.
And so we shall, I guess, see what this does for City in the coming weeks. But they really needed this win, of course, because Arsenal picked up a 3-0 comfortable win in the end at home to Sunderland the day before. Gyökeres finding his feet, maybe. It's all starting to click. Again, it's not brilliant, is it? But I mean, they're not brilliant and still winning 3-0. Then you can't really argue with that.
Yeah, it's just, and Sunderland weren't terrible in this. They gave Arsenal a proper match in that first half. But it's been the story of Arsenal's season. They try and break a team down, they get the goal, and then it gets quite comfortable. And the big plus here is that brace from Gyökeres, particularly that first goal. I think is a very Gyökeres kind of goal, kind of finish that. He has done that of his own making. It wasn't a tap-in. And yeah, just encouraging signs for Arsenal, I think. And they just have to keep doing what they're doing. And they've got some tough fixtures coming up, actually. They're away to Brentford on Thursday. And then I think they're away to Spurs as well at some point. They've got 3 games away now. It's going to be a really interesting week for the title race. Continuing
to go back in time to Friday night, Leeds beating Forest 3-1 in sort of what ended up being a quite a big sort of relegation scrap, didn't it? Sort of relegation 6-pointer, shall we say? And Leeds. Really, for me, sort of in this game, showing why they are just that one step ahead of the teams below, not just in terms of points, but in terms of the way they're playing as well.
Yeah, there's a real unity in Leeds, isn't there? Farke's managed to galvanise his team. He's changed formation, which we've spoken about before, and they all just seem very united, playing as a team. There was only ever one winner in this game, I think. Friday night at Leeds against a relegation rival. I think Leeds are always going to win this game. They just looked up for it. Dominic Calvert-Lewin continues to be a revelation up front.
Continues to very genuinely,
You're going to say the World Cup.
I'm going to say the World Cup thing.
Yes, why not?
He does, doesn't he? Obviously, Harry Kane's there in that number 1 spot, but there's a few strikers who you have to say, well, who are we taking, as backup? And he's firmly there right now.
Would you rather Calvert-Lewin or Danny Welbeck as that third striker?
Well, this is it for me. I think it is difficult to pick between Calvert-Lewin, Watkins, and Danny Welbeck. I think all 3 of them are in real top form. I think it will come down to who is firing on all cylinders when it gets to crunch time, close to the World Cup. Forest firmly in a relegation scrap, aren't they? Especially with West Ham playing so well, they'll be looking over their shoulders, and it's all starting to get a little bit hairy for Sean Dyche.
It's getting a lot tighter down there. There's 3 points now between West Ham and Forest, and
we've got to assume Burnley and Wolves have both gone.
I think you have to. I think it would take an absolute miracle for them to survive. Is Sean Dyche under pressure in this relegation fight? He's normally the guy you'd bring in to save you from a relegation fight. Could Mr. Marinakis make the decision? 4th manager in a season.
I think that would have been insane, but stranger things have happened. Another manager under the cosh firmly is Eddie Howe at Newcastle after losing 3-2 at home to Brentford. Howe's come out and said, following that defeat, that there's no doubt in his mind that he is still the right man for the job. Otherwise, he would have left. Which kind of feels a little bit like It's almost like he's trying to get in there with that dreaded vote of confidence for himself before
that's
it
not
happens.
What you want. I'll give it to myself before the owner gives it.
Listen,
to me.
I think I'm the right person for the job, but exactly. Brentford continuing to impress, though, aren't they? You know, given all that we talked about at the start of the year, we were all under the assumption they would be one of the teams in a relegation scrap, and you know, continuing to do well under Keith Andrews.
Yeah, they just keep impressing. And what impressed me the most in this game was their wingers. They had Dango Ouattara on the left, Keane Lewis Potter on the right, and both looked really good. They swapped sides quite a bit as well and gave the Newcastle fullback something to think about. And obviously Ouattara gets the winner in this game. And they just look really solid. And again, there's a togetherness there. They are pushing for Europe. As a Liverpool fan, I found myself in a weird position of checking Brentford's fixtures last night, which was certainly unnerving.
Yeah.
But that's where we are.
Well, listen, you know, you may well, find yourself in the Conference League next year, Joe. You know, so
should win that.
You should. You should. Listen, we also need to talk about Man United. I think beating Spurs 2-0. Is this the last time we're going to talk about the hair guy?
I really hope so. I'm so bored of it now.
One more win United need, and the United strand can finally cut his hair.
So they're away at West Ham Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Tonight, as this episode is released.
So look, by the next time we do this, he could have a shaved head. What do you think?
What will he do once he's shaved his hair?
Well, I hope he's donating the hair to charity or something. You know,
that would be a nice thing to do. He did do a video after this win saying big plans ahead.
I'm growing me fingernails until Manchester win 10.
Oh, goodness
Tom, are you doing some sort of hair challenge?
Yeah, I'm growing my hair until Crew Alex win 2. So I'm cutting it tomorrow. They're doing well.
Very good.
We do need to talk about, I think, or maybe this is just me, the Romero red card in this one, because that's the thing that really stumped Thomas Frank's side. Very early on, there was a straight red for Romero for a challenge in midfield, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I disagreed with the red card, but I feel like I watched it and I thought, he's just tried to kick the ball, hasn't he? And he sort of missed, and he's sort of gone into the player. And then I heard the commentary on Match of the Day, and it was calling it disgusting. And I just thought, oh dear, like maybe I'm getting old, Joe.
Maybe you are.
Maybe I'm getting old, and I think that's just how people used to tackle.
Maybe it is. I mean, I thought it was one of those. I don't think it's helped by the fact it was Romero.
Yes.
You just assume it's a red card against him. I mean, I don't know what Spurs fans must be thinking. Like, I feel like he gets sent off so much. You're captain as well, and
the most red cards in the Premier League since 2021, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, hello, stat.
There you go.
Stat head.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, things go from bad to worse for Spurs. Yeah, I can't see where they play Newcastle in midweek. And then they play Arsenal, so it's tough.
So, Joe, it seems like an absolute age now since the transfer window closed, but really it's just only a few days. Mm-hmm. And so a few players are going to be coming to terms with, I suppose, what clubs they're at, or whether that's a club that they thought they were getting a move from and then didn't. Or all of a sudden they weren't expecting to leave and they're finding themselves on the way out. It's just one of those sort of one of those hazards of the job around this time of year, isn't it?
It must be really strange. I think especially because of the amount of noise there is as well. Like, you can't move for rumours, especially on transfer deadline day. It seems like deals are rushed through. And it must be a really strange time to be a player that's kind of on the fringes of a team or not sure where you're going to be. Like, I'd imagine it's quite unsettling.
Did you? This is a bit of a tangent, so okay. We may need to take this out. Did you ever see the movie Moneyball with Brad Pitt in?
I did.
I have.
About baseball.
Mm-hmm. I did, yeah.
Well, like, that whole film is all centered around how they're being clever with their money, and they're the lowest. They have the least money in the Major League Baseball, and they're trying to buy well and clever, but constantly they are trading players, and when an opportunity for somebody to come to them, they're going, yep, great, that's fine, this will work, but we're going to have to get rid of this other player to pay for it. And so you'll just sort of have these scenes. It happens multiple times in this film where the guy's just sort of sitting down with these players and going, right, I've just traded you to somewhere 4,000 miles away. Pack your bags, thank you very much, off you go. And it does sort of make it the point quite starkly in that film that these athletes are just commodities, aren't they? And so it's very much something I think we've just come to expect in the modern game. Yeah, players they get moved when they're not needed, or when there's an opportunity to bring in someone a little bit better. Sorry, you're out the door.
Yeah, and we're going to come on to talk here about Dwight McNeil, aren't we? And this is involving him and a proposed move to Crystal Palace.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened for those of our listeners who haven't followed the Dwight McNeil story?
Yeah, so Dwight McNeil very much on the fringes at Everton, and on deadline day, a deal was agreed in principle between Palace and Everton. He completed the medical. However, the final paperwork wasn't submitted in time. Therefore, Palace actually backed out of the deal in the last minute. I think this is actually quite a common thing, but this story particularly stood out to us, I think, because in a social media post, his partner Megan Sharpley then said a 4.5-year contract had been offered to McNeil, and the pair of them had prepared to move life to London, living in Liverpool. And then that's quite a big move, isn't it, Ed? Down from Liverpool to the capital.
Massive, yeah, exactly.
So you can imagine this couple are, planning to uproot, probably starting to look at houses and imagine their life in London. What would it be like to live in and around Crystal Palace? Is it a nice part of London?
I think so.
Nice,
yeah,
it
is. Yeah.
So they're imagining themselves brunching, having coffees, all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she does this post about how it's been torn away without explanation.
Well, the extended post, which I think is worth us actually reading in a bit more detail, because she goes into quite a lot of depth of how much they were hurt by this whole saga. So Megan Sharpley wrote, "We live in a world where everyone is aware of how big a problem mental health is. So in football, why do we find it acceptable? Because these young men are on a lot of money, and that's okay to mess and toy with their mental health, and that it's just part of the job. We all deserve to be treated with respect, kindness, and fairly. The last 48 hours have broken my heart to see how the football world you love so much can be so cruel to you, to have something promised to you, to have been dragged along on an emotional roller coaster, and to be toyed with until the final minute. For that to be torn away from you at the last second with absolutely no explanation, going from everything to radio silence, no phone call, no communication, and be left broken-hearted with nothing but confusion, has hurt more than I can say." So she is clearly incredibly emotional about this, and my gut feeling reading that is that she's almost certainly speaking on behalf of her partner Dwight McNeil as well. She's maybe got a bit more freedom to say probably what he would like to say in a press conference, I imagine.
Yeah, 100%. And some added context here as well is that she's had some health complications over the last year, which she's been very public about, and how Dwight McNeil has been by her side through the whole thing. So it's fair to say that this couple have had quite a turbulent year, right? And then this almost feels like the breaking point where, this move was promised and it's fallen through, and it's clearly really affected her. And I think that Moneyball comparison you made is actually a really good comparison, because Palace are very much lauded as a team that do business well. Their owner, Steve Parish, is known as a businessman. We've seen with Mark Gahey moving on. He wanted to get that money for him, and that was much more important, getting 20 million for Mark Gahey, than having him for the rest of the season to help them in a footballing sense. He preferred the money to the footballing success. So I think that's a really interesting kind of way of looking at it, that Dwight McNeil is a commodity that hasn't worked out, so we'll move on. And Ed, we were talking about this before in our planning meeting, and you actually said that you have a story similar to this closer to home, to do with your granddad, who of course was Gordan Banks, England legend. Yeah,
so it's funny, like we sort of might think of this as quite a modern phenomenon, but actually just a story that hopefully illustrates the point that some things don't really change. So those of you who may be listening who know my grandfather's career, after he won the World Cup with England in 1966, weeks after that, Leicester City, his club team, informed him that he was being put up for sale. There was a sense that they wanted to cash in. despite him sort of being sort of at the peak of his career, they wanted to cash in, and also they had the young Peter Shilton as an understudy, saw him as the future. And my granddad was absolutely heartbroken. He loved Leicester City and found it difficult when they told him that he was up for sale. He was told from several other players, particularly his friend Roger Hunt at Liverpool, that Bill Shankly was in for him, and he said, "Don't worry, hang tight, there's an offer coming in for you." And he thought, great, I'm going to get this big move to Liverpool, sounds fantastic. But that offer never really materialised, and it was sort of spoken about, and there was rumours, but it never actually became anything concrete. And he felt very much sort of in the middle of lots of things going on and waiting for other people to act. And in the meantime, Stoke City manager Tony Waddington approached him and said, "Why don't you come to Stoke and have a chat with me?" And at the time, Stoke were quite a good side then. They weren't as good as Liverpool, but they were sort of definitely at the top end of the First Division. And basically what Tony Waddington did was he just made my granddad feel like, you are going to be the most important person at this club. You are going to be so valued here. The people will love you. The fans will love you. Your teammates will love you. And also, to show you how much I would like you here, here's a house. and he basically just offered him like one of his houses. I think he had like 2 houses. He was just like giving. He was like, here you go.
The summer home in Stoke.
Exactly. And the thing was that, for my granddad, not only did he sort of, he wanted to feel that he was playing for a club that wanted him, and he really got that sense from Stoke. But also, like, the fact that there was a house involved meant that he could see his family growing up in this really nice, part of Shropshire and all of that. And it was interesting that he had to make a decision. Do I sit and wait for this dream offer from Liverpool, or do I opt for stability and for the prosperity of my family and a good family life? And he chose the latter. And I'm sure part of him maybe regretted that he never got to play in front of the Kop, but what he did get was a club that absolutely adored him, later made him the honorary president of the club, and he retired there, so it really is something that whole sense of, these guys aren't commodities. They never have been. They've always been humans. They still are humans, and that's really, really important, I think.
So you're saying that you could, in an alternative life, you could be a Liverpool fan?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, wow. Yeah. Well, that's it. My whole family were born and raised in Stoke because of where he went. So yeah, 100%. I could be this could be a Liverpool podcast. Yeah.
I don't think we'd be allowed to do that.
No.
But that's something we don't see, is it? So
Liverpool podcasts.
They are.
There's too many. Yeah.
What we don't see is when a player is moving, and maybe they do have a choice like that, we look from our spectator standpoint of, you have to make this decision purely on footballing merit and where you're going to play well. We don't think about like the ramifications for that player's partner, that player's family, that player's future family,
their kids, their grandkids, all of that sort of stuff.
We just don't think. And I think that story, along with this Dwight McNeil story, is such a stark reminder that these people are human. These people have a family, and this is something that we bang on about all the time. But it's so important to remember that these people are making decisions not just for themselves, for their families, for their futures, for their well-being. That's a really great story.
And just to highlight the real issue here, it's not just at players at the very top level where we're talking about, millions of pounds at stake. It is going all the way through the pyramids. BBC Sport reported that one Football League player, one EFL player, was informed that his loan was being cut short in this transfer window via a text from a club secretary, including asking if he could move out of his club flat that afternoon. Can you imagine that? You're a young player, you're on loan, wherever that might be. We don't know who this player is, but you're on loan somewhere. You're probably feeling quite isolated and possibly lonely. You're just trying to do your best, for whatever club you're out on loan at. And then all of a sudden you get a text, you're going back, leave your flat today. Like, I just can't imagine. We expect players to perform well when they're under that kind of pressure and instability, and their whole lives are apparently built on this sort of deck of cards. It's crazy.
I think it's also worth us kind of pivoting away from football a little bit, if that's all right.
Oh, goodness me.
To kind of talk about kind of what do these situations look like in our own lives?
Yeah.
Like, maybe we are faced with disappointments, and how do we respond to that?
Because I think it's very easy for us to say we don't have to deal with this sort of stuff because we're not Premier League footballers. We're not all of a sudden finding out, one day that we've got to have left a flat by the end of that day. Usually they give us a week or whatever, we don't have those kind of pressures. That is true. But actually, I think things that can be just as destabilizing do happen to us. I remember when my wife and I bought a house, or nearly bought a house, and we were ready to go, and it was on the day of purchase, and everything all just sort of fell through, and through circumstances that were beyond our control. And it was just like, right, that's it. That Christmas that we'd imagined in that house, that what am I going to do with that spare room, like all of that thinking was just wasted, and it was gone. And you do emotionally invest into different areas of life like
you
this.
You imagine things, don't you?
Yeah.
Like in the future. And the phrase you said there, and this is where our faith comes into it, that phrase, beyond our control.
Yeah.
These things happen, and we can't do anything about them. So then our faith comes into this, that God is in control, and it's almost that recognition of, look, this situation has happened, this thing that I didn't see coming has happened, so I have to hand this over to you, God. And how does that practically look?
Well, I think interestingly, if we look at Scripture in Psalm 37, there's a great Scripture that says, "The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in Him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall." And I think that's quite crucial in that it says, you may stumble. Okay, so even if your hope is in the Lord, that doesn't mean that your life is going to turn out perfect. There are still bumps in the road, which is important to acknowledge. But I love this verse in James 4. This is a bit of a funny one in that it's just sort of so real about life. It says, "Now listen, you who say tomorrow or today, we will go to this or that city, spend a year there, carry on business and make money. Why? You do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it is the Lord's will, we will live and do this or that."
That's brutal.
It is. It's just basically saying, like, well, what's the point in planning? I understand that, because you're absolutely right. Tomorrow isn't really promised to any of us. We just don't know what life is going to be like, and so I think that living with a sense of open-handedness. Yeah, of course we have to plan for things, but holding those plans with open palms and just saying, like, Lord, my life is actually in your hands, and whatever happens, give me the character to respond well, I think is really important.
And it's really hard to do in the moment as well.
Oh, massively. Yeah.
If you've been hit with a disappointment, and it could completely cripple you emotionally, and it's so hard in the moment to say, oh, it's okay, like, I'll hold this lightly because God's got it. That's really hard in some situations, but it's what our faith tells us, and it's a good exercise here is to look back at other times that you've maybe been in uncertainty, you've had disappointments, and I find it really, really useful to look back and see why something didn't happen and how God has used that.
Yeah.
Because so often it's the case, like that job you thought was going to be perfect, or that house that fell through for some reason. You look back at either what you have now or what happened in that situation and think, oh, thank you, God, for what you did there and for how you've brought me through it.
Bible ballers, Joe, come on, let's do this.
Let's.
Yes, let's. I shall read out the question again. Which former Bible baller who is currently managing in the Premier League once described himself as the slowest striker in the whole of Western Europe? Now, when I say former Bible baller, he's still here.
Still with us.
Former footballer.
Okay, yeah.
Now turned manager.
And the book's still in the Bible.
And the book is still in the Bible. Yes.
For now.
For now. So yes, currently managing in the Premier League, once described himself as the slowest striker in the whole of Western Europe. Any thoughts?
Okay, I've got two.
Okay.
Two thoughts.
Yeah.
One is Marco Silva,
Okay.
as previously mentioned. And my other, thanks to the football roundup we just did, Daniel Farke
Oh,
of
interesting.
Leeds. Now, Western Europe would make sense. I believe he's German.
He certainly feels that way, doesn't he?
And he's got a bit of personality,
Yes.
Daniel Farke. And I can imagine him saying that kind of thing. Was he a striker? Does he feel like a striker? I think he does.
Okay.
So I would please like to lock in Daniel Farke.
You're locking in Daniel Farke.
He looks slow as well, doesn't he?
That is correct.
Oh, get in.
Well done, Joe. Yes. That was. I wondered whether the Marco Silva might trip you up, but no, you're absolutely
sneaky.
right. Daniel Farke, who plied his trade in lower league German football, which is he's got that written all over him.
It's so
hasn't he?
funny how the best managers just weren't good players.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
Yeah, but yes, Daniel Farke now very much succeeding in the Premier League, where he didn't succeed as a striker, sadly. But I do quite like that self-deprecating humour, so I'm all for it.
We're all about it.
But yes, that's all we've got time for, Joe.
It's been a joy. It's been a joy.
It's been fantastic, hasn't it? Well, thank you for listening to The Big Man Up Top. If you want to get in touch with the show, please ping us an email to podcasts@ucb.co.uk. Make sure you check out our YouTube and now our Instagram.
Yes.
Both at the same handle, at Big Man Up Top Pod. So make sure you check that out.
And I believe that Instagram page, we're going to do some extra content, right, Tom? Is that the plan?
Yep, I hope so.
Yeah.
Especially come this World Cup, you know, it's going to be. We're going to have to do something over the summer. You know?
So yeah, exactly. So get on your Instagrams and get following us. If you've enjoyed this, please leave us some good reviews. That helps other people to find out about the podcast. And there will be a brand new episode next Tuesday, won't there, Joe?
They will. See you then.
See you there.
Can you imagine Scouse Ed?
Hello, mate.
Hello, welcome to the Big Man Up Top.
Oh dear.